Hello there. I'm making a video as a response to an email I got. And it's somebody on the list who called my bluff and basically said, hey, listen, you're suggesting things that aren't possible. My life is really hard, actually really hard. And what you're basically said, what you're suggesting can't work in reality, can't work. And, great that you're making money off of this BS, And I want to say first and foremost that I'm not making this video to in any way belittle that person, because I actually understand having a hard life. And I understand how freaking impossible it feels to be happy. And this person detailed some really horrendous discrimination against them by people around them. Having their neighbors call Social Security to against them, so they couldn't get disability, which many of us are familiar with. I've never been able to get disability. So I always had to struggle. Including never knowing week to week where money for groceries would come. So I understand that. And I want to say that's bullshit. What this person has had to deal with is bullshit. We all know that. We all agree. People who doubt that we are sick are off. And whole systems are off. And it does suck. This person is not wrong. So that's just to say, I get it. And actually, I feel angry too. On your behalf, I feel angry for what you've been through. It's not fair. It's not right. It's not just. And kind of at a cosmic level, it just feels wrong. Why? Why me? Why do I have to go through all this? And I also want to say that I understand doubting that anything could be done in these situations. Because we live in this culture. And in this culture, we've almost never seen anybody our entire lives instill a sense of unbreakable happiness that doesn't depend on what circumstance they're in. Basically, everybody here is and then I fell in love and it got better. Or then I, inherited money, or then my illness went away and everything got better and now I'm happy. And we actually publish inspiring stories like this. I remember growing up watching stories like this, then I was released from prison and for my wrongful sentence and everything got better. And it's well, yeah, but what if you hadn't been released? What if your illness didn't get better? What if you didn't fall in love? What if your money situation was the same? Then what? So I'm going to patch in some footage here from a documentary I watched the other night. And this was about a great Tibetan Buddhist teacher who's still alive today. Garshan Rinpoche is his name, who went through the genocide in Tibet, fighting in the Tibetan army against the invasion. This is back in 1959. And the result of that was that they lost the war. They lost the war tragically after fighting heroically. And then he was put in prison for 20 years in a prison camp where he was starving to death, watching others being tortured and starved to death and executed. And what I want to say is I want you to look into this man's face and you tell me whether he's a happy person. And I'll link to the full documentary about him. You can watch it if you're inspired. But he comes from a different culture than ours. He comes from a culture where they absolutely know this to be true. You can work on your own heart and mind and instill an indestructible sense of happiness. And that's the essence of what I'm trying to do with you. You can pay me or not. I don't care. Honestly, this project is a passion project for me. It has not made me a lot of money, but I love it because I care about this group and I know what you go through. And it touches me very deeply what you face on a day-to-day basis. And it is possible for you to overcome at least part of what you're up against. Honestly, if you could reduce your misery by 10%, imagine how cool that would be. If you could take a medication that would reduce your misery by 10%, you would all be hooked on it. Imagine, and maybe if it's 20%, maybe it's 50%, 50%. Then you look at that man's face. He's doing 100%. That's no lie. And if you watch the full documentary, you will hear the horror he has been through. This is real. This is your real life. You can be miserable or hang out your hope for something that all of us are looking for and very few of us have found. Or you can do the work right now. So sign up for the free trial. Start to do the work. And I'm talking honestly to the person who sent the email as well. I have no bad feelings about that email. You're all welcome. I want all of us to benefit. I want to overcome this misery we're stuck in. That's my one goal.
So we all know about Gachin Rinpoche's eyes. We have seen him close his eyes. We have seen him having difficulty opening his eyes. It is because Rinpoche is in chronic pain. It causes him great effort and great pain to open his eyes. And not just his eyes, his knees, his back, his shoulder. He's in chronic pain continuously. And one time Jago Rinpoche told me that if an ordinary person would have to endure the pain, the physical pain that Gachin Rinpoche is experiencing, we would not be even able to forbear this for even a minute.
So good to see you.